Verdansk was announced that COD Next is going to be returning in spring 2025, but I thought I'd go ahead and take a look at what's going to happen between now all the way until the release and the expected release date, because I think that's important for a lot of people that maybe want to come back for Verdansk or just kind of interested to see what's going to happen with this integration, because there's a ton of details that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, even though we have access to that information. So kind of go through the bullet points as of today. Obviously, we have Season 5 currently active. The beta is going on for Black Ops 6, but as soon as the beta is over, we're going to get access to Season 6. And this is going to be pretty important because most of the times our seasons last about 2 months, 60 or so days, plus or minus a week, and they usually happen on Wednesdays. Almost exclusively happen on Wednesdays. Season 6 is set to start out on September 18th, which, like I said, is about a week from now. And then knowing where the season will probably end, we can go probably about halfway in between and figure out where the mid-season is going to be. We already know that you get a couple weapons in the seasonal updates and all that stuff. That's going to be part of the current Warzone MW3 getting their updates. I don't think Zombies is going to get any updates from Modern Warfare Zombies. And that's kind of how that puts it. What this will do, though, is it'll put the mid-season update or Season 6 Reloaded somewhere between October 16th and the 23rd. And that's about a week or two before Black Ops 6 drops on October 25th. And this is kind of an important date because obviously that's when we're going to get access to the new guns, be able to level for multiplayer, the new round-based Zombies experience. And then Warzone will stay the exact same way it is. We're not going to get an integration right away. And this follows how it's been pretty much every single year since Modern Warfare 2019 introduced Warzone in March of 2020. It also doesn't appear that we're going to get early access to the campaign, so campaign will drop on that same day. So the expected integration date based off of all this information is probably November 20th or December 5th. I think November 7th or whatever the case would be. It's a little bit too close to Thanksgiving for an American holiday. I don't think they'd really want to launch around that time. They want to let people enjoy the holidays. So I think November 20th is very potential, and that would be pretty early for an integration. And then the December 5th makes probably the most sense because this is kind of how we've had integrations in the past. What does that mean? What the heck is the integration going to mean? With that being the integration and the start date of Season 1, we're going to get the basic new content for multiplayer, Zombies, the new weapons. All that's going to happen for Black Ops 6. It's going to be a normal Season 1 update. When it comes to Warzone, everything's going to kind of change, and they're going to adopt all the systems that we saw at COD Next on top of the integration with all the weapons, the operators, everything. So you're going to get all the weapons from MW2 and MW3. All the operators. The created class is transitioning, one that more mirrors Black Ops 6 with the different wild cards, not overkill by default, the dedicated melee, the 3 different perks. You can choose any of them out of the 18, and then you don't have to be restricted to a specific category. That's kind of how the integration will happen. And we're also going to get Omni movement. So if you haven't had a chance to explore Black Ops 6, the closed beta, when you get the open beta, the movement's supposed to be 1-to-1. So basically whatever you're going to be able to do in Black Ops 6 in terms of being able to run forward, backwards, sideways, every direction, be able to dive, slide, mantle, all the movement mechanics will be just transferred over into Warzone, and it'll be 1-to-1 movement. So it'll basically be identical, which is nice that the games will completely match. Backpacks are gone. We're going to go back to the Warzone 1 looting with a little bit of a caveat. They've improved upon Warzone 1's backpack system or lack of backpack system with giving us not only a satchel that takes us up from 6 to 12, but then we also get a armor satchel that we can combine at the same time. It's not a pick or choose. So it's super simplified. It will allow the pace of the game to be sped up. And then like 30 other quality of life changes, change to streaks, talked about some of these things, but all that will take place on both Urzikstan. So it'll play completely different, even if there's no map changes. None have been announced, but maybe there will be in the future. I don't know. And Area 99 will drop, which will be the brand new Resurgence map, which seems like a good map. It was made by Treyarch, which I don't know if a lot of you know this, but Treyarch, the only really other Resurgence map they've ever made was Alcatraz, which later became Rebirth Island. They almost copied that 1-to-1. That has been one of the most popular Resurgence maps made by the same people. And that should be a huge W. I think there was some feedback and criticism of the map, primarily due to color. And I think that should be a pretty easy fix for them because they've essentially said that yeah, we're gonna fix that. Like, that's a priority for us, to fix the color, to make it a little bit more poppy and make it feel a little bit more like each of the POIs stand out aesthetically based off color. So that one, I would expect us to get some more news around that, which will be a nice change. One of the best parts about Area 99 is it plays like a Treyarch map. And that's what I think has made Resurgence so popular on Rebirth Island and originally Alcatraz, is because it plays like a Treyarch map. Although not like one-to-one, it does have that 3-lane map feel. The art design, how they've designed different elements of it, feel and look like Treyarch, and it generally lends itself well to different play styles. Just like you can use a sniper, a rifle, SMG, shotgun, and each one you got to kind of know how to navigate the map. I think you'll have very much that same flow that we have in Rebirth Island, and the player count's going to be very similar. And the surface is technically smaller than it is on Rebirth Island, so even the tempo could be technically a little bit faster. It'll just be something that people got to get acclimated to, and I think it's one of these ones where maybe they'll take out Rebirth Island for a few weeks, and then those will be in a map rotation as kind of mirrors of each other, so that you can probably enjoy both. Probably people will still prefer one over the other, whether they just prefer Rebirth and they don't want to play anything else, or they're tired of Rebirth and they want to play something else that still feels good, but both people should be kind of happy in those cases. At least that's my thought process of it, especially with all the nice little changes coming. But no clue on what's going to happen to the other maps. I would imagine Vondel, maybe Volta. I don't know what's going to happen with those. I guess they'll take feedback at that point. They still got to probably play test those to see how those work with the Omni movement, the new looting. There's a lot that goes into it than just, oh, you know what, let's just turn the map on with all the changes. It doesn't really work that way. Also in this season 1, we're going to get access to the brand new Warzone camo grind. And we've seen it already, what it looks like for BO6. But I feel like this could be a situation like we had last year when Modern Warfare Zombies added camos for MW2 weapons, even though it was a year later. I think the same thing we could be seeing in this, but for Warzone, so it is a multi-game COD. They might add those camos to MW2 and MW3 weapons, which would be kind of interesting change of pace. But that hasn't been mentioned anywhere. That's just kind of my thought. Maybe you could be able to grind those older guns out so then you can actually have 3 mastery camos for every single weapon in the game. I also think this is where the big weapon rebalance, rework is going to happen. Obviously, Black Ops 6 is going to probably be some of the more dominant weapons. It would just make more sense to do it that way. But I think there's going to be a lot more room for different metas based off all the conversations we've had privately and on the open. It sounds like we're going to have a wide variety of metas. And I think this could be the big change that they kind of alluded to in a couple creator calls back, where they said that they want to do a big rework on older guns so that, one, they were more viable. But I think it's going to adopt some of the design philosophy that we have in BO6, where there's minimal cons. There's still cons on various items, but it'll be way less. And that's one of the biggest things that's holds back a lot of MW2 guns. Not even that they suck in terms of being able to kill or whatever. It's just when you put on attachments, there's just way too many cons. It was often better to equip 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5 attachments, because if you equip more than that, it would make the gun actively worse, which doesn't even make sense. So I think that's one of the biggest problems with MW2 that they could actually address with an update like this. Then that's going to bring us in all through December. And then I think January 8th is a good guess on when the mid-season or season 1 reloaded will happen. And obviously you'll get the new weapons or whatever the new content they have planned or scheduled for whatever the various modes are in both Black Ops 6 and Warzone. But we're also going to get an update where we're going to get big map battle royale ranked on Urzikstan with all these various changes. So that should be the expected guesstimate of when that should happen. Gives people a chance to get their feet wet, go for nukes, go for wins, go for kills, whatever. And then when the New Year's happens, we should be able to jump in and get big map ranked. And that'll be a trial all the way up until we get to season 2, which would realistically start about a month after that, which I'm guesstimating around February 5th. And then you'll get the new weapons, new content, whatever. And then we'll get into season 2 reloaded, which I think is when they'll add Verdansk. The estimated date on that would be March 12th. March 10th, which is the actual 5-year anniversary, is on a Monday. So maybe they'll do some kind of event in game for the previous week, and then that'll end on that Wednesday. mid-season update, big push, Verdansk 5-year anniversary. And then there'll probably be some changes to the map, whether they add more zips, especially for some trouble areas. I think they'll mostly keep it pretty much the same, but there'll probably be some changes here and there, and it'll be much more similar to the original Verdansk than Verdansk 84. That would be my guess. There probably won't be a crater in downtown or anything like that. I think they'll go back and then they'll make modifications with zips, pulleys, balloons, all these different various things that help the game have a little bit better flow. But I wonder how they're going to handle the player count. The original was 150. They've added all these other mechanics. I feel like they have to drop it with 150, kind of give that original feel. But we'll see kind of how it goes. And they'll probably have some color changes, aesthetics. So that's kind of the roadmap between now and everything along the way until we get back to Verdansk, which is supposed to be spring 2025. And I'm excited all the way through. I'm excited for Black Ops 6 multiplayer, zombies, probably even the campaign at some point. I don't know if I will if we don't get early access. So hopefully they give us early access, or I don't see myself really investing time in that over multiplayer and zombies to get those camos, get the levels done, and then go into the integration, play the new map. Are excited for the Return of Verdansk? Or you just like want them to have a new map that you complain about? Or I think it's really hard to make the COD community happy, because even if you give them exactly what they want, they'll find something else to be upset about. That's just kind of the nature of the beast. That's kind of how it goes. Let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.